The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
Well, it's Friday.
And it's the last show for a week because next week we're off the air again.
Well, it's not our fault this time. Nobody's going on vacation, me or anybody. But electrical work again.
Yeah,
so.
That was last week and now next week. So.
And then again, I actually read on the way into the studio this morning. There's also it's going to be shut down, and but the time is still
undetermined. Monday,
undetermined
August 6th.
On August 6th.
Right, Monday, August 6th. So,
yeah.
And so, I called up to our assistant station manager, Steve, and he said that he would keep us apprised of what's going to happen. He says, but at this point, probably plan for not having a show.
Yeah. Well, we've got a whole bunch of things to talk about today because it just never ends.
Never ends, and I get to see some of these clowns before our show today because they're.
Oh yeah, state delegation. We got a lot of stuff to talk about at the state, and how ridiculous they are. They're like a walking contradiction, an oxymoron. You know, like the oxymoron club, and. But why don't we start off with the city again, trying to gouge more money from the taxpayers again, larger staff. Leading to more Fall River parking enforcement. Now they're going to walk up. We're giving you fair warning, everybody.
Oh.
They're going to be walking around your neighborhoods now, not just downtown in the areas where, number one, they shouldn't have parking meters because they're so worried about economic development, and they're going to rape everybody with the parking meters. They want to increase fees. They want to increase parking meter fees. They say they got so much money, but they need every dime. They're squeezing every nickel they can get. So they're hiring more enforcement.
No, they already
people.
Hired them, actually.
Yeah,
they have 2 more parking enforcement officers.
Yeah.
And the chatter on Facebook was unbelievable because people started getting tickets for parking in front of their own driveways. And they're like, but I'm parking in front of my driveway. Should it be illegal? It's illegal. It's the law. You can't park in front of a driveway, whether you own it or not. So you're going to get a ticket.
Yeah,
and these people aren't walking. They're driving around in your neighborhood. They got cars.
Yeah.
That
Well,
say,
I saw one walking the other day. Walking up and down the street. I guess she had a car parked somewhere, but she was walking a neighborhood. Surprised me because you very rarely see, you never saw meter maids in neighborhoods. You saw them.
Now you will.
You saw them down. Now you will. Fair warning. Fair warning. So I guess my new neighbor on my street that has never used a purple bag. But since the landlords won't enforce it, and we hired enforcement officers for that, but then couldn't get any money out of them because they knew when they went to court they were going to lose. But now, parking tickets, oh yeah, there's an untapped resource. And he has one of his relatives, I guess, or somebody that he knows, on a weekend. They come in and they park right across his driveway, in front of his driveway, because his cars are already in. And I guess they go in the backyard because parking's sometimes at a premium. So be prepared, everybody. You're going to get parking tickets if you're too close to a driveway, if you're too close, if you parked on the wrong side of the street the wrong way. They're going to ticket you for everything. Because remember, the city's got $10 million to spare, but they're going to squeeze every single dime out of you they can. They'll even you can't get a job unless you put. I'm sure at least people know somebody, but you're going to get a job. Now they're going to hire more people to go into the neighborhoods and ticket everybody. And this is kind of like it's one of those things. It's like Solomon. You're going to split the baby. Some of these things will be 100%. They're right in many cases. But the thing is, if you park the wrong way on a street, but you're not blocking traffic, and what are they going to do? Go out with their tape measures to see how close you are to the driveway, or a hydrant, or what? It's just, look, it's not the fact that people who are not doing things legally shouldn't suffer consequences, But the motivation is so obvious. Money. They're going to hire more bodies to go through the city with a fine-tooth comb to get as much revenue as they can from people in their own neighborhoods, in their own streets. So they said, guy gets a ticket for parking in front of his own driveway. Is it legal? Technically, no. Blocking a driveway. But then again, it's his driveway, but he's parked in the street, which is a public way. So if he's in the driveway, well, now we got a court case. But I mean, it's just the motivation. They're so full of crap, it's unbelievable.
Well, you know, and the thing is, too, that they're not only citing you for that, they're citing you for parking too close to the corner, for blocking the ramps, for parking at a crosswalk. They're citing you for expired inspection stickers. They will cite you for an expired inspection sticker. And be grateful that the parking enforcement officer is doing it, because if the former police officer does it, your insurance goes up. But a parking enforcement officer, it doesn't go up. So in one respect, you got to be grateful for it, that it's a parking enforcement officer. But again, there's no protection for you anymore. Driving around with an expired inspection sticker, you're going to get a ticket. You're going to get a ticket somewhere, whether you like it or not.
Registration sticker, everything. They're going to, they're going to be going around looking for everything because they need the money. They need the money. Regardless of what they say, we're loaded. It's election time. They'll be even richer at election time. They'll be saying what a great job, you know. But what do? They do everything that's contrary to the public good. Downtown, they've always enforced meters, where most cities, forward-thinking cities who want economic development in business areas, have made every attempt to minimize parking fees and eliminate them in most cases, because they want to allow people to go down there. They don't want everybody to go down there and have tickets hanging all over their car when they come back from frequenting local businesses. But no, not Fall River. They have the most judicious enforcement right around the businesses, and then they talk about economic development, but it's ludicrous. So, I mean, even at the Cape in the middle of the summer, parking's difficult, but they have these very, very large parking lots, and they've got these, you know, you can swipe a credit card or something and put a little tab on your thing, and it's fairly cheap. They have public parking in a lot of these, you know, I know in Plymouth, down near the venue where they have the fights. There's a large parking area in the back, and it's really cheap, huge parking area. Well, of course, that's good for business. You know, they've got people in that community that actually care. All these people care about is getting more money, and they'll raise your tax. They still won't get enough.
And the sad part about it is we have 2 parking decks downtown, and they're basically rented. They're rented spaces. You can't go and pull in. If you need a parking space downtown because you're going to the court and you go to the parking deck, guess what? There's no space for you because you're not a monthly renter. And that's not what those are supposed to be for. Those are supposed to be for people to park in when they need a parking space.
Yeah, you're right. And they're also in pretty bad disrepair for the most part.
Right.
I mean, you know, if you might be parked on the upper level and find your car in the basement when you get there. When it collapses. But, you know, the thing that irks me, and maybe some people just don't care. You know, yesterday was trash day for me. I just happened to be walking out to my car when the trash guys came out. And I watched the trash guy hook up the yard waste with the regular trash and dump it right. They put them in side by side, hooked them up side by side, and activated the hydraulic lift. So in went trash with my 1 purple bag, because I only use 1 bag a week, so because I don't generate that much trash. But the previous individual, I watched them. He had a yard waste barrel and a trash barrel with no purple bags, by the way, not one, white bags. He hooked the 2 of them up side by side, activated the hydraulic lift, and dumped both the yard waste and that into the into the bed of the trash truck. So does it disturb me that now we're going to have a meter-maid ticketing people on my street while they allow, they not only allow, they don't even abide by their own, you know, they don't even separate. Yeah, why have an extra barrel? Just throw everything. Well, you might as well throw the recycles and everything. Because, I mean, I've seen it time and time again, but yesterday again, I watched it, and I watched the entire process. Then he came to, and picked up my barrel and went on their merry way. But, you know, this selective enforcement, and they only enforce things going to get them money. You can bet your bippy, as an old TV show used to say. You can bet your bippy that if they could have made those fines stick and they knew they could collect easily, they'd still have stringent enforcement of the bags. But then again, you got people like me who use purple bags who have to look every day on the street, and half the street doesn't use purple bags, never did. Do you feel like, you know, I abide by the law, and what's my reward? More taxes, more fees, and now they're going to be walking up and down my street seeing if they can ticket all my neighbors. I'm fortunate enough to have a driveway, but a lot of them don't. So, you know, should you, you know, if somebody's parked too close to the corner, yeah, fine. But like I said, you all got these little irritants. You go down the corner of my street, it dead ends at County. It's only 1 block long. And my street has a weird turn. It's kind of like it's on a bend. When you come to the end of my street and you look up County, which is at that upper county between Eastern Avenue and McGowan, that place is like a racetrack. They think that's like Daytona 500. They come flying down County Street. Actually, one time there was somebody that was coming up County and ended up on the front lawn of my neighbor, who has a 4-foot granite wall before his lawn started, and he flipped the car over and they ended up on the lawn. That's how fast they come. So every time I go out and I have to hit County Street, I have to slow down. And if there's a car parked within 10 feet of that corner, you can't see because of the bend. And for years, they had a sign, no parking from here to the corner, to allow you at least a break so you wouldn't get clipped. Now that sign's been down for about 2 years, never to be gone up again. And I got SUVs and stuff parked right almost to the corner. And when I leave, I have to basically go out a 1/4 inch at a time until I get past the. You don't know how many times I've seen cars whiz by doing about 50 miles an hour on County Street or 60 miles an hour. So, you know, when they talk about enforcement, they don't enforce things like that. That sign was put there originally for a reason. That's a very dangerous corner. Granted, it's not a high traffic area and they don't care because there's not a million accidents, but there have been a lot of accidents there. But this is what you get, because our government, the only impetus for them to take any action is they're going to take more of your money.
Money, money, money.
And they're going to make more money. So what did we say on our first show, CJ?
Follow the money.
Follow the money. So with that, okay, you're forewarned, viewers. They're coming. And look out into your neighborhood, and your unfriendly neighborhood traffic officer will be looking to give you a present.
Well, according to Laura Ferreira, this has been going on for years, so this is supposedly...
That is a crock of baloney. I have owned my house for over 40 years. I have never seen a traffic officer in the Flint, ever, walking up and down the side streets.
And they're coming for you tomorrow. They're coming for you tomorrow.
Yeah, well, let them come. I got a driveway. You know what I say to them?
Don't park in front of your driveway, though.
That's why I got it. Look, my street's got a lot of people. My next door neighbor's got 9 cars. Every one of his kids got a car. He's got 2 cars. He's got a truck and a car, and my other neighbor's got about 6. So just those two houses alone take up about a third to a half of the street. So it's not a bit, it's not. That's why I'm lucky to have a driveway. Otherwise, I'd never have a parking place.
Exactly.
I'd be hoofing it a block, a block or 2 away from the house before I got a parking place. But the thing is, just beware. They're coming after you. So.
Well, now your state Senate wants to allow for illegal drug usage with the state seal of approval.
Yes. Yes.
And we talked about this a couple of years ago, about a year ago, when I was speaking to Canada about these opiate dens. Yep. So they want to, but the great thing about this is, the Fed said that they will crack down on this, and they want to put doctors and nurses in these crack houses to monitor them. Well, guess what? If you've got a doctor or a nurse who's working in that crack house, the feds come down on them, they're going to lose their license.
Yeah, bye-bye license.
Bye-bye license. And that's not going to happen.
Well, what gets me, CJ, again, we have the bipolar disorder that all these politicians have. They call themselves Democrats, and they say they're in the old days, quote, the working man, poor people's party. But they won't give us a tax holiday. They'll give themselves a pay raise. They tax us to death. And then they have bipolar disorder. While they talk like that, they do something different. Now, here we go. Mass can allow illegal drug sites, but feds will crack down, and justifiably so. They're violating the law. And because why? Political correctness in their demographic. They don't want to upset all the little, all the little people down there, down the Cape and places like that, and out in the North Shore and the South Shore, and all the burbs who send all their junkies down to us. They don't want to offend them. They want to make sure they keep getting their vote from their demographic. And at the same time, their dissociative disorder, dual personality kicks in. And what is the other thing we got? Mass legislature approves raising age to buy tobacco and e-cigarettes. So they don't want you to smoke cigarettes.
But they want you to shoot up heroin.
Well, you can go shoot. They're going to give you that you can illegally shoot up heroin. Cigarettes are legal. Should they be legal? No. Why are they legal? Because the cigarette company's a billion-dollar industry, and they pay off all the politicians. More people, I just saw a commercial, it said more people die from cigarette smoking than overdoses, car accidents, cancer, heart disease put together.
And not only direct cigarette smoking, but secondhand smoke kills as well.
Exactly. And we saw what happened in the old days when they used to allow them to smoke on planes. The cancer rate of flight attendants was astronomical. But here you go, bipolar. They're going to make it harder for you to buy cigarettes. Even though you shouldn't smoke them, there's plenty of warnings, and it's a choice. And at least you can run away from a cigarette. But they're going to give the junkies a place to shoot up. Well, guess what? I'm making a bold prediction here. This is just my theory. It's not. I don't have any concrete facts yet. But I would say that this is going to result in even more crime.
Of course it will.
Because, number one, they're going to have a nice, safe place to shoot up. They're going to have all their facilities. They'll provide them probably with the free lunch, needles, lounge chairs, and whatever. And
Narcan,
in case they overdose. So they're going to use, and they're going to. So which means that they can't. They're going to break into your house. They're going to cause stuff. Most people. I've never seen a cigarette addict, and they are addicts, and they've said justifiably that that's hard. A nicotine addiction is harder to kick than a cocaine addiction. But yeah, they are addicts. I've never seen one of them break into a house because they had to buy a pack of cigarettes. They'll go out and try to bum some. They only need a couple, although they're fairly expensive, but heroin's cheaper. But when they take it by the carload. So, here's our legislature again, not taking care of you, not giving you a tax holiday, trying to figure out every possible way they can get more money out of you. while they give themselves pay raises and stipends, and they do stuff like this. They spend your hard-earned tax dollars not by increasing safety, public safety, not increasing anything, but by flying in the face of federal law because it's politically correct. And it's not correct for the people who are paying the tab. You're there to represent us and our interests, and the first thing should be to provide for domestic tranquility. In case you don't know where that comes from, check out the preamble to the Constitution. Provide domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, ensure the general welfare for ourselves and our posterity. So this is what you got. You know, again, the boys in Boston, the boys and girls in Boston, they've just got more and more.
I have to read this quote.
Oh, okay.
From the U.S. Attorney.
Okay.
Heroin use fuels a deadly drug trade that is ravaging our state and the region, and my office is keenly focused on curbing the opioid and heroin epidemic. Providing a sanctuary to accommodate risky and lethal illegal drug use undermines all of the hard work of the treatment providers and law enforcement across the Commonwealth, Lelling, an appointee of President Donald Trump, said. The opioid epidemic requires that we remain laser focused on prevention, treatment, and enforcement, not the normalization of intravenous use of heroin and fentanyl. But that's what your Senate, your Massachusetts Senate wants to do. Call Michael Rodrigues and tell him, you're a scumbag. You want to normalize heroin use.
You mean Michael Rodrigues that interceded to allow the EPA to flip on the, so they could...
Yeah, the same Michael Rodrigues who wanted to put a road across the rail trail.
The rail trail. The guy who is the number one accomplice in this rail trail issue that we face now, because it was dead. They shot it down. The state shot it down. But a state senator leveraged for the owner. And it was not our words. Herald News documented emails. He interceded.
The EPA said it. That one of the Department of Transportation or EPA, somebody had turned around and said that they were pressured by State Senator Michael Rodrigues. They named him. Yep. They named him.
Good. And as they did, and probably the guy at the New Hampshire liquor store was pressured into selling them liquor because after he passed a tax on liquor, then tried to and bought a place where he could beat it. But you know, this is the thing. But you know, and you know, to be perfectly fair, it's not only them. It's our entire government and society, except for the feds, because we have sanctuary cities. Now we got sanctuary drug havens, and what do they do? And that's a really key thing. And when he said, not the normalization of intravenous use of heroin and fentanyl. Guess what? They make every attempt to normalize and mainstream things by their semantics and their terminology. No longer is drug addiction a choice. It's a disease. They don't have, they don't have any choice. You know, they have to grab that needle. They have to stick it in their arm. They have to run around and break into your house to get money to go buy a couple of bags. No, they don't. Sorry. It's not playing in Peoria. Just like illegal. Wait a minute, they're using the term illegal. Isn't that barred from government use?
I think so.
Because when we called aliens illegal, everybody flipped out. They normalized that by calling them
undocumented.
Undocumented. That's something that's fairly normal. People are undocumented. What does that mean? You forgot your license at home? You get stopped by a cop. Can I say I'm an undocumented driver?
Yeah, why not?
I don't have my documents with me. I'm undocumented. You know, I left my driver's license on the kitchen table. I'm undocumented. Okay, go ahead. You're undocumented. You're not driving illegally without a license. Go ahead. Yeah, if it's me, I can guarantee you I'm getting cited.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no doubt about it. You know, they look at somebody and go, "Oh, you're just a regular working person." You know, you don't have your license here. Get your ticket. Driving without a license. See you later. Go get a fine. Go pay the government more. Oh, you're an illegal? I can't even ask you for a driver's license. Oh, you're from one of the Guays? Uruguay, Paraguay, whatever Guay. That's it. You stop them, they go, "Oh."
No fala inglés.
Yeah, no habla. No habla. Or hablo, I don't know. But habla, no habla. Okay, that's it. I'm sorry, I can't ask you any questions because the governor and the attorney general will be upset with me because they are, you know, they do nothing but pander to these groups. So, you know, and the feds are right. And as I continue to say, who knows? Maybe I'll write a letter to Donald. He's in enough trouble anyway. I might as well get him in more. But you should tell them, look, they want to do stuff like this. Cut off state aid. Don't only arrest them. Cut off your state aid. I mean, the state of Massachusetts and these other states are thumbing their nose and giving the middle finger to the federal government. And as soon as anything happens, what do? They pull a Fall River. Please, please give me more money. Like Fall River does every time to the legislature. We need more money. Don't cut our money. We need more money. This city's a mess. Well, as soon as we have a national disaster, all of a sudden, they'll be part of the United States again. They don't want state autonomy. They want federal money. They want money from everybody in the United States to come to this state.
But you know,
but when it comes to abiding by federal law,
the hell with it. But you know, the funny part about it is because again, the quadruple BS artists were here before our show, taping their show for next month, and Mike Roderick said that and so did I believe it was Carol Fiola. We're talking about that they had a meet with the school department and union leaders because they need more money. They need the state aid formula to be adjusted to give them more money. Fall River already gets 90% of its school budget from the state. 90%.
Yeah.
How much more do you want? 100% of the school budget?
120.
120. Yeah, why not? 120.
Give them more than because you know what irritates me? They're in there. And you can't blame them.
And that money is being spent on people, deans of students.
Yeah, and that's the problem. The problem is that they always ask the same thing. We want more money. They don't care about accountability and efficiency. We've got more administrative jobs than we've ever had, and we have a much lower student population. We didn't have deans of students. We didn't have assistants to the assistants. But so they waste money, and their answer isn't to tighten up their ship, get rid of all these high-paying, gigantically paying jobs in the school department. It's like a cancer. It just keeps growing. Well, no, we need more money. Why? Well, we've got to pay the teachers more, and they deserve more. But how about all these administrators? How about deans of students for middle school people? Really? A dean of students?
Right.
Come on, CJ. I know the first time I ever saw a dean of students is when I went to college, and I'm sure that's the first time you saw one.
It's the first time I saw one.
Because when I went to Durfee and we had one of the largest graduating classes in history, we didn't have a dean of students. It was like...
You had a principal and a vice principal. That's it.
Right. That's right. That's what you had. So,
and nothing more.
Stay angry, and remember, keep your eye out for the meter maids.
And remember, we won't be on the air next week, but we'll see you the following week. Sorry, we're not going to be on next week. I know you're going to go through withdrawal. Have a great weekend and a great week next week.
But keep giving us and calling us with the information.
That's right. We need those tips. Have a great weekend.